Thank you. So this is what I have to start with, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, good evening, everybody. Scituate Conservation rules and meeting procedures. Okay, this meeting is being held virtual as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You're hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the town of Scituate in accordance with the open meeting law. Now, our statement commitment to diversity, equity, inclusion. The Scituate Conservation Commission is committed to providing an environment of respect during meetings. We ask that all members interact in a polite manner, even when there's disagreement. We value the participation of our community and want all participants, including marginalized, minoritized communities, to feel welcome and respected. We ask our committee members and all who participate to commit to these standards and support and respect our community. Okay. So up first is 164 Turner Road.
Well, first, can we vote to
Oh,
accept the
yes.
agenda?
Make a motion. I make a motion. We accept the agenda as written. I don't have any add-ons. I don't know if anyone else does. Hearing none, I guess we're all
I'll
set, Brent.
second your motion, Penny.
Thank you.
Okay. I've got the motion and the second. So Roger
Yes.
and Brendan, yes. That's all of us, right?
Yes, for the
Just the
moment.
four for the moment. Okay. So now are we ready for 164 Turner?
Um, yes, we have the
You'd think I
applicants.
know.
Yeah. I think we heard this last on in December. That's when we discussed it first. We've received a new site plan February 12th. And I'm not sure if maybe the applicant wants to give us an update. We do have our peer reviewer on the call also.
Okay, great. Mr. Acting Chair, members of the board, Jeff DeLisi. I'm here with the applicant, Mr. Snow, along with Brad Holmes of ECR. And that's pretty much our team. Just to recap, this is a raise and reconstruct project. It, in our opinion, represents a significant improvement to the interests of the act and the wetland regs, as well as consistent with the objectives of FEMA. In addition, the existing home right now is in a dilapidated state. It's boarded up, it's unsafe, it's essentially a solid wall cinder block foundation in a coastal dune, as well as in land subject to coastal storm flowage. It's also in a buffer to the BVW, which is a salt marsh. The property is currently connected to town sewer, town water. The proposal is to raise it and reconstruct a new home substantially in the footprint where it exists now, but elevated onto wood piles above base flood elevation, not unlike other projects that this commission has seen, for instance, on Peggotty Beach Road and out in Humrock, that also involve Barrier Beach, coastal dune situations. Um, this project will eliminate a hazard, that being it's going to remove existing problems associated with drainage, flooding, and pollution, and therefore will help to improve the functioning of the salt marsh. We are proposing small rounded stone as the surface of a driveway. Brad will get into that with you. Similar to the stone, however, I just wanted to point out that was acceptable to the commission in the Man Hill Beach Restoration Project. It does have direct frontage on Meadow Road, which is a small private road that comes in off of Scituate Avenue, running parallel to Surfside. Um, it's the applicant actually owns the midpoint of the road under Massachusetts law and has the right to use it for its entire length. That law is Mass General Law, Chapter 183, Section 58. Brad will explain what has occurred since the last meeting, but we have reduced the scope of the project to eliminate the concept that was previously proposed, that being to widen the road. We are not proposing to widen the road now. The only activity that is being proposed in the road is just to trim back some of that invasive Phragmite that's kind of hanging into the road, and to we would access the project using construction mats to make sure that there's no damage to the salt marsh. So the staging for the work that is being proposed is actually going to be off-site for the most part. And we're going to try and not really disturb any area other than the area where the existing home um, is presently located, in the area, obviously, that's part of the work. But as far as staging for construction, it's not like we're going to be dropping um, lumber and materials in areas that is outside or already disturbed areas on the site. This is a coastal dune, and we're proposing work in a coastal dune, which actually helps the coastal dune. But the standard is the same for coastal dune work as it is for waivers in your regulations, which is no adverse impact. So there was a site visit early on with peer review. There was a couple of peer review letters. The most recent was received last week by us. We have not had a time to compose written response, but we're happy to walk the commission through every single item, because internally as a team, we believe that we could address every item we've met, and that's the case. So without further ado, I'd ask Brad to explain to the commission what we've done since the last meeting.
Thank you, Jeff. Good evening, members of the commission. Brad Holmes from ECR. To, to summarize the overview of the project, as Jeff briefed the commission, you're correct. The project hasn't changed in the sense that it's a reconstruction of a single-family home to be elevated on piles, a significant improvement to what exists now. Since we presented this to the commission at the last meeting, we removed the activities that were proposed on Meadow Road that would consist of placement of material to improve the surface, so that the only activity that would be proposed in that area is trimming back of Phragmites on either side that overhang into the driveway. And that trimming back would be all done by hand, and the cut Phragmites would be collected and disposed of off-site. And the use of construction mats is is proposed for placement on the roadway during the construction project as a temporary access. Those are, the commission's familiar with construction mats for, you see them on utility projects, and they put them in the wetland resource area and then allow for equipment to do work. And then when the project is completed, the construction mats are removed. So that's the only activity that's proposed in the Meadow Road right of way. That is different than what we proposed earlier, which was more significant the driveway improvements. The remaining portions of the project remain the same. The project involves the reconstruction on piles to meet the performance standards of coastal dune and barrier beach and land subject to coastal storm flowage. The project also involves a small driveway coming in from the Meadow Road roadway or driveway there. It's a small 12-foot wide driveway that will use a small rounded stone kind of like a small, I won't say it's not cobble, but it's more of a small stone, more of like the sediment that you might see from this type of dune system when it washes over. As you know, this dune system isn't like a sandy, you know, beach area like a Sequoia beach, powdery sand. It's more of a sediment and stone as it comes over the seawall and washes through the area. So this material that we're proposing is more compatible to that kind of sediment, and it would be drivable. It's not proposed to be anything more than placement of the stone on top of the surface. We're not proposing to excavate and create a sub base and then put stone in. It's just adding to the surface that's there. And then the where the building is now, the foundation, once that's removed, that area would be graded smooth, and then the small stone would be added underneath as well, stabilization under the building. Um, the project also includes enhancement plantings. We're not claiming these to be mitigation plantings because we're not seeking mitigation to offset something that isn't permittable. This is all in compliance with performance standards, so we're proposing to enhance the resource area. We're proposing native plantings on that north side of the building as you're looking at it. And the intent of that is that any storm overwash that's coming from the ocean heading towards the wetland system to the south would be some may be captured in that vegetation and try to slow some of the stormwater overflow if it's coming that way. So it's more of an enhancement to the dune system, and also it's always a good thing to add some vegetation to a unvegetated dune system. As Jeff explained, we did get a second review letter from Lucas Environmental. I think a number of items have been agreed upon. Other items for question that remain are certainly addressable. I'll provide some more detail. We have that letter handy and are available to go over those items with you. If Jen, if you had it and was able to bring it up, we can go through those quickly if that works for you.
Um, we want to go through all the items, or why don't we hear from Devin and well, I'll let the commission decide what they want to do, but I didn't have the Word document set up at the moment.
Sure, however it works for you. Um, we have responded, and I think we're there on this project. Uh, we're in compliance with the dune performance standards because this is an existing single family home on a dune. There's the standard that we have to minimize adverse impacts and use best available measures to do that. That's what this project is. It's not a project where it's a new structure in a dune that has a stricter standard under the performance standards. It has to minimize impacts. And obviously, I think the commission all would agree that taking this out of the dune as a dilapidated remains and elevating it and putting it on piles is a significant improvement. But I'll turn it over to you, Jen, and go from there.
Just really quickly, it is not located in a wildlife habitat priority area or rare species area that is mapped. So we're not in that type of area. I just wanted to mention that.
Mhm.
That's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay. So, I guess next you want to hear from Devin?
Yes,
Or,
and also I just want to say I do believe Robbie has joined us. If we can make him a co-host, please. And Devin, you are unmuted.
Thank you, commissioners. Good evening. Devin Tabor with Lucas Environmental. So I think obviously in receipt of our review letter too, there are a number of outstanding items that specifically relate to the technical analysis of the coastal dune, its associated impacts for the driveway, you know, stones, etc. We're looking at, the dune's ability to more or less move, right? So I think that's obviously a concern that we have when we're looking at a large installation of stone and gravel on the dune itself. We're all obviously looking at the impacts associated with enhancing or planting within the right of way, as there are other abutters who have rights to that right of way. We're looking at also some sort of analysis and impact calculations related to the temporary access associated with construction related activities. As obviously we know, and it's obviously common practice to those are temporary in nature, but more or less you're working within the resource areas. So I think the initial comment letter that we provided, forgive me, back in was that November, which, in part requested additional information. There are a number of items that we'd like to work through. So I'm not too sure if the commission wants to go through those one by one, as I do think that would take some time, as the review letter two is 15 pages. I think it would be best if Brad and his team, the applicant, Mr. DeLisi, kind of put together a formal response so we can see that analysis, review that. I do, it was brought to my attention that there possibly might be a request for a working session. So I think that might be appropriate too. So we can kind of hash out those items as a collective technical team versus doing that on the public hearing. But more or less, I defer to the Conservation Commission on how they'd like to see the due process of this moving forward. I guess there just are still concerns that we have. So I'd like to see those responded to appropriately.
And we would be happy to we think a working session would be a good way of tackling that.
Yeah, I agree.
And then afterwards, summarizing in writing from there.
Mr. Delisi, I think it would be beneficial too if we have that working session. In the past, when I've conducted those, the commissioners were able to come in, listen, and ask questions if needed. But more or less, it was not a time to deliberate between the commissioners, but working through those outstanding questions for the technical team on both the applicant side and our side as the peer reviewers.
Fine by us.
So I think that's all I have right now, unless the commission wants me to navigate this differently.
No, I guess we don't want to go through all 15 pages yet.
That's what I
Unless
figured.
anyone, yes, other commissioners might let me know otherwise. Okay. So
Brendan,
yes,
I definitely want to be there at the meeting that they're going, the working one.
the working session.
I
Okay.
definitely, yes. Please sign me up today.
And this is something, if you would forgive me, I haven't participated in a working session before, except maybe during COVID, some period of time ago. I'm just wondering, is that a noticed type of situation? Do you need quorum? How does that work from a procedural standpoint, if you know? If not, I can look into it separately.
I could tell you my experience, but Jen might be better to speak to that. I don't know if this commission has conducted in such a way. When I recently did a working session, I was on the opposite end of things. We conducted that virtually. Commissioners were able to attend, listen, and then more or less we kind of gave that brief overcap, kind of dovetailing off of what you were just saying, Mr. DeLisi, in the public meeting. So that way the commissioners and the public have the opportunity to comment appropriately.
Okay, thanks.
Have we done anything like that, Jen?
Not virtually. We've had meetings where we've met on site and there's been a quorum, so we've advertised it and had an agenda. So I mean, I would assume it's the same thing. If we think we're going to have a quorum, then we'll schedule it like a meeting. We'll find out who can attend and then what we're going to do with it.
Okay.
What I had envisioned, I've done these and actually with Scituate. I can't remember if it was with Amy or if it was even with Vinnie Calicious before that, but just to lay the plan out at the table in the town hall and we can go over it. I certainly don't have any issue with commission members, but I don't want it to throw off a meeting or quorum, that kind of thing. If that's the case, we could certainly give a summary of the meeting, but it's really just to go, it's an attempt so that we don't have this paper back and forth, so that the commission, the next time we come to the commission, it's another, we take 15 pages down to 10 pages, down to another meeting, down to 5 pages. I mean, this is something that I think we can talk together on and come to an agreement and then, have things resolved so that we're, at the next meeting. This isn't, I don't think there's anything that's in as I said before, there's nothing here that can't be addressed. So, that's my envision of a working session.
I can work on getting something scheduled.
I just want to listen, Jeff. That's what I'm not going to be there to ask questions. I just want to listen so I can do my due diligence before we meet again as a public meeting.
That's great. Thank you. I think from our perspective, there were 15 pages worth of comments, and I don't know how many of those pages. I think that we've already achieved some consensus. So I think that the goal of this, and correct me if I'm wrong, is to focus on, what is still outstanding and not have to go over all of the stuff that has already been addressed. Am I correct?
Yeah, anything that we had no further comment on, I don't expect to hash out more or less. That's kind of finished in our book and wrapped up. Um, we're just looking for more with relation to the outstanding comments that remain.
Okay.
So that would be what we would want to discuss. Um, Obviously, there are some things, like on the site plans, for instance, that, we'd recommend to the commission as conditions and stuff like that. So we can address those quickly in that, but more or less that'll be something that the commissioners need to approve and vote on. So
Great, thank you. I do want to also note that there was, I believe, a letter submitted in support by our neighbor to the north, or I think it's the north, one over along Meadow Road as well. That's it.
Okay.
yeah, and just to clarify, Mr. Chair, any abutter related comments will not be part of that working session, as the abutters and the public would not be in attendance to that. So anything obviously that comes in through abutter commentary would have to be dealt with
Mhm.
in this setting.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see how this working session kind of
Okay.
comes together and who can make it and who not. All right. So, Jen, do you have anything that you want to add here?
I don't have anything new. The project itself, it hasn't, it's just like they've described, a raise rebuild, getting a foundation out of the ground. That's a good thing to have it elevated on open piles, no footing, so material and water can flow over the site. A driveway is something that's, as long as it's a minimized area, which, can be permitted. And if, additional details that we want on the plan so things are clear, we can work that out.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to commissioners. Penny?
I really don't have any questions right now, Brendan. I'm, I just would like to see this meeting, the work, go forward, and we get a plan that has everything on it. So I really have no questions at this moment in time. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. So, how about Eric?
Um, I think at this point, I'll just be interested to see what has to be produced from the working session. And then if I have any questions at that point, I'll address them at the next meeting. Thanks, Brendan.
All right, very good. Roger?
Yeah, same point of
Same.
view. Let's get to the working session. Let's get everything hashed out and then come back to this group to look at it. The one question I do want to make sure is just making sure that this does get brought up so that if there are people who want to weigh in, like the person who weighed in, sent the letter in support. I'm sure there are going to be people who may be, from a different perspective, but I want to make sure that those folks have a voice on it as well. So it'll probably come. Sounds like that's the plan. I think that's what I would agree to.
Okay, great. And Robbie?
Thank you. I had a couple of questions. It indicates that Meadow Road on the plan is a private ownership. Is it owned by the applicant or?
The road is not located on the applicant's lot, but the applicant's lot is contiguous to, so it touches Meadow Road for the frontage of the lot.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's a kind of a technical thing, but there are many, many countless private roads in the town of Scituate and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. There is very, very clear law on how to construe who owns roads if they abut them and they're private, yet they're not located on the actual lot. And what the law says is when you don't own on the opposite side of the road, you're construed to own to the midpoint of the road and to have the right to utilize the road for its entire length. And so we own the fee in the road. We've got the right to use it because we own on it, along with everyone else who owns on it. And that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm. So it's ownership unknown, I guess, or is anybody paying taxes on it?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that question. I don't think it's a separate tax assessor parcel. It was laid out on a plan that was recorded at the Registry of Deeds, probably around 1910 or thereabouts. It was basically, if you think of what you know to be a subdivision now, all of Sand Hills was pretty much all of it was shown on a single plan of land that identifies various lots, hundreds of lots. And so that's kind of, I believe, how this one is shown.
Okay.
But it's certainly not a separate tax parcel. I don't think anybody is paying taxes on it or is identified as an owner of it.
Okay.
It's a private road laid out on a subdivision plan, for which various lots have frontage and use it as access,
Mm-hmm.
as well as, say, the prior owner of Mr. Snow or predecessors of Mr. Snow, also used Meadow Road as access.
Mm-hmm. So the applicant has the legal right to perform work on it. I think they're trimming some vegetation and bringing in construction mats.
Well, I know that so I'm certainly privy to, um, I'm cued into the interest that the neighborhood has in this particular project, as has been articulated in the public realm, such as on Facebook and so forth. And I understand that there's some concern that we're proposing to do road work or improve Meadow Road. And when we filed the application, the concept was, oh, geez, maybe we could widen the road a bit. And we've since decided to not do that. So what all we're proposing to do is just trim back like any owner would, vegetation that's kind of hanging into the road. In this case, that would be Phragmite. So we're not really proposing any activity to the road. We're not proposing to resurface it or to smooth it out or regrade it or to change its composition. Um, it's just a Phragmite trimming situation. And, this area and other areas in town have problems with Phragmite. It's invasive. It's not good for the wetland ecology. And it's something that Mr. Snow is more than happy to collaborate with the landowners and the stakeholders in the area and see if we can come together for a more comprehensive, say, eradication plan. But that's not what is being proposed, and that would be something that would be in the future if it happens, and hopefully it would happen. And as far as the Meadow Road plan that shows this property, that was recorded at the Registry of Deeds in 1984. So I'm kind of obviously multitasking as I'm talking. I'm looking, and then that was based on an earlier plan that was much older. So anyway, to answer your question, we believe, that we would have the right to maintain the road, in a very rudimentary way by kind of trimming these invasive Phragmites that are kind of growing into it. But we're not seeking the authority from your commission to do any road work, if that makes any sense.
Understood. Thank you. One of the comment letters indicated that trimming of the Phragmites was not necessarily sufficient form of eradication, and I was wondering if you could comment on that, if there's something that would be more effective, or if trimming is an effective management tool for Phragmites.
I think I'll let Frank comment on that. Frank, you wanna take this one? I'll let you sit down even. You can do that.
Sure. Good evening. So at this time, the plan is simply to cut back the Phragmites on either side of the roadway about 2 feet. They're overhanging the road considerably. This is no different than any other private way where you might cut back branches or overgrowth. So it's just a matter of using maybe a small hedge trimmer or something like that and simply cutting back the Phragmites. We certainly don't want to dig them out. That's going to be disruptive. They help stabilize the edges of the road, and we're not proposing any sort of eradication. Basically, we don't own that, so it's a access road to the house. It's been there for over 100 years, and it's grown in some because of lack of use. That house has been in bad shape, and the former owner got sick and wasn't using it, and the neighbor doesn't drive in there. So we just want to cut back the Phragmites on either side enough so that we can bring equipment in to do the work. And as Brad and Jeff had said earlier, as opposed to doing any sort of grading at this time, we just like to use construction mats and travel over those, similar to what other projects that are on a dune or whatever have been built on before. It's been a typical scenario.
Thank you. I guess another question I had, are there any new underground utilities proposed or anticipated associated with the project?
So right now, there's already a water and a sewer line that go into the existing foundation. When the foundation's removed, those will have to be cut back and capped, and then they would be continued to a piling that could go up the piling and service the house. There's also a gas line that's already existing, and it services both houses, and it's been cut and capped, and that would be reconnected and been run up a piling to service the equipment that's inside the house.
Great. So then it seems like there'll be no more excavation outside of the limits of the property for underground utilities. Is that accurate?
That's what we've seen right now. We met with the sewer department, the water department. We know that those pieces are already intact. At some point, we'll run a camera on the sewer line that's required of all projects now, rebuild projects. But that line is a plastic line that was installed about 20 years ago, maybe a little bit more 30, but um, seem to have pretty good confidence that that's in good shape. Right now, it, like I say, it comes in and comes up inside. So it
Mm-hmm.
just be cut back during the construction and then reconnected. And the gas line, it's it's hard to say. I believe it's a steel line right now. Oftentimes, if the gas company needs to, they can actually insert a tube inside the existing line to redo that. Or at some point, if it needed to be replaced, they have some pretty simple technology, either something like a ditch witch or even trenchless technology to run a new gas line to those houses. So be minimal disruption.
Thank you. And then I guess one final question. The planting area that appears outside of the property limits is is the plan to get permission to?
So it appears that that right of way doesn't technically have an owner. There's a electric line that goes over that, similar to the question about the roadway. There's this easement. It has a power line on it. Um, we butt on that easement. The thought was that that would be the most beneficial place to put plantings. Right now, any overwash that comes over the seawall goes across Turner Road. It goes through the parking lot. It's accelerated. So when it comes to this spot, it then starts to pick up sediment again and take it towards the marsh. So our thought was that the best place for that planting was in front of the house, between the house and Turner Road. If there's a question about whether it should be planted there, we can find some places to plant it around the house. And we also have some proposed for the rear of the house anyways. But I thought that that would be the most practical and beneficial place to put plantings.
Okay.
If I may add one piece to that, Frank, we designed that planting area in the front not only because of the functionality for the site, but it was our understanding that because it's a private way, that the ownership would go to the center line. So we made sure that we stayed from that center between the center line of that way and the property line, so we wouldn't be encroaching beyond, off site.
Thank you. I guess one more question for the chair. How will the commission handle the comment letters? There's a couple of comment letters with some specific concerns and requests. How do we typically handle that? Or maybe Jen.
Yeah, Jen, do you have, I mean, I'm reading the comment letters as well, so. You know,
I think a lot it will be answered during the meeting and with any additional comments that we receive.
Which meeting is that?
Well, I mean, during this meeting and then any formal responses that we receive, I think will address many of the comments. I know there's a concern for the area and how much it floods and which, so, making sure everything is compliant in that regard would certainly be happening. And we're trying to make sure everything meets performance standards for the resource area that it's in.
Okay, I mean, I think people are asking specific questions, and it would be great if we could specifically respond to those questions and assemble them, I think, or have
Wouldn't,
the applicant.
Brendan,
yes.
I would think, Robbie, that we'd be able to answer those questions after the workshop, or
Work
what do you
session.
want?
We're a working session.
The
Mhm.
working session. After that session, when everything is on this plan and all of Devin's questions have been answered, then we can answer the neighborhood. Right now, I don't think we have the answers that they're probably looking for until we do this. So I would think it would be at the next meeting. Otherwise, we're just rambling on because we don't probably have the specific answers until this work session is done. That's
Sounds reasonable.
my
Just my concern was if it's discussed in the working session, it's not necessarily public, or it might be public. I'm not sure, but if we come back in this forum and are able to address those public comments, then I'm fine with that.
Well, we probably will, because whatever's in the work session, that's to be brought forward at the next meeting after, when they come to a meeting of the minds there.
Mr.
All right, and all the issues that have been brought up are answered. So
Mi-
then at the next meeting, when this does come back up, we would have the answers for people, but I don't think we have them right now.
Mr. Chair, do you mind if I?
Please do.
Oh, great. So, regarding the comments we received from the public via letters and emails prior to the public meeting, the commissioners are more than welcome to repeat the questions in the public forum of their own accord to give voice to those questions. I know not all letters want to be named. Some are anonymous, so it would be best if we didn't say the name of the person who asked the question, but we can certainly repeat the questions in the public forum. And of course, if I receive a letter from a member of the public that asks the letter to be read during the meeting, and if it's within a reasonable length, that's something that could be discussed with the chair. But those are the typical ways that conservation commissions deal with abutter comments that come in through text. But again, it really is, it should be noted too that all the letters that I've received as a member of the office has been circulated among the commission.
So just if you wouldn't mind, a couple of things. Number one, we could be here all day if we're talking about 10 different letters articulating the same issue. So I'd like to, we're happy to answer any question. We're here now. If anybody has any specific questions about what we're proposing, such as, are you proposing to eradicate Phragmite within the salt marsh, the answer of which is no. We're happy to answer them. And maybe we could eliminate a lot of that. And separately, I think it would be in the interests of the commission to almost, compile, if you're going to compile a list, not be repetitive. If 10 people are looking for the answer to the same question, and give us the question and we'll try and answer it, but not 10 times. So those are my thoughts.
Okay. So is that everything with you, Robbie?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you. So for me, I'm just gonna, briefly say, like other commissioners have, I'm looking forward to the working session, the result from it. So I don't have a lot of questions right now. And I think the questions we're seeing from abutters in the community, we'll be able to answer them better once all the details have been ironed out. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's it for me. So I guess now do you have any questions from the public? I see we have a couple of hands.
Sure. I can unmute Max. Okay.
Yeah, now I see three hands. So I just want to say that, we want everyone to be heard, but again, we're not looking to repeat over and over the same thing. So if someone else has said something, you can chime in and agree with that. But just trying to keep this, we're already up to 40 minutes here. on this hearing, and there's way more to go. So with
Okay,
that,
all right, I'll unmute Matt Carlton.
Hi, good evening. Matt Carlton, 48 Seaview Ave. My question is strictly a procedural one. Were you proposing that after this working session, we would have another public meeting in this forum for us to potentially address our questions? Because if so, I would, suggest tabling our environmental concern questions until that session after the working session has had a chance to go through some of the concerns laid out in the environmental impact report. And if everyone agrees to that, then we'll have fewer repetitive questions this evening. Thank
yeah.
you.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Yes, that we're going to have another meeting, another public meeting with the results of what's been worked out, and we'll have questions then. I know that the commission will certainly have some questions as well.
Okay, I'm going to unmute Scott Greenbaum.
Hello. Yeah, I submitted a letter. I can see that the commission has read a lot of it. I'm not going to go through the whole
Can
thing.
you just give for the record, your
Oh,
name?
yeah.
Thank you.
Scott Greenbaum, 40 Damon Road, Scituate, Mass. So couple things that I haven't seen addressed yet. Meadow Road goes to Otis. That's all disturbed area. And I haven't heard anything from anyone say why we're not coming into this property from that direction and not having to hit the approximate 100 feet of recovering wetlands to it. Number two, I would like to see the sewer test done because I've seen new houses in the Sandhill areas dig up their sewer lines and replace them. I can't see a lined sewer line that is over 100 years old being meeting the town standards. Every new cell in the neighborhood has had a new sewer line. And I know when I sell my house, I'm going to have to do it, but mine's terracotta. And again, if we're going to have to run a sewer line, I don't know if you can put up the picture that I put up on that, but it's going to run through the entire area from the house to Scituate Avenue. And there are sewer lines basically to the south because there are houses over in that area. I'd also like to see construction from the south instead of coming in through through the Meadow Road. And Meadow Road, at least as far as I can find out, definitely goes to Otis and looks like it also goes to Turner. And those are all disturbed areas. So those are major questions. The other question I have is, has there been any borings done on this property? Because there's a lot of beach cobble. I mean, all over the place. And I know that there's been, while I was on the commission, there were a couple of houses in this area that were going to go on driven pilings. And then, lo and behold, the pilings blew up as they hit this cobble. And using what do they call it? I forgot the name of that type of footing system is definitely very disruptive to the wetlands area. So I would like to know that, make sure that the plan works. Seems like a lot of the questions that I had that will probably answered in your working session. And the last comment is Eversource has already laid out the line for the new gas line running through this property. It comes off of Scituate. It's a big yellow line. Unfortunately, a lot of it's been washed away, running right down the middle of Meadow Road and then going in front of the neighboring house, which I believe is 164A. And I would like to see us not allow them to hook up to a gas line and make this an all-electric house, which the house has to be pre-wired and pre-made for that anyway. So why should we make another renovation for Eversource to basically dig a big trench to get there? They're not going to get over here with core buildings and stuff. So those are the major things. There's some more details, and obviously, since you've read the letter that I sent, as I said, I think we just should do the minimal amount of disturbance to a recovering area that is recovered since conduit, the culvert was run to Scituate Harbor. I'm also a little concerned that there's someone saying isolated vegetated bordering wetland, but this is connected to the harbor. I believe it's all bordering wetlands. Thank you.
So would love an opportunity to respond. It might be a good opportunity to kind of synthesize some of the issues that were stated, and maybe we can check them off if possible. I know you're tight for time, and I'll be quick.
Okay.
Thank you. The yellow lines that Mr. Greenbaum thought were gas lines are actually, or proposed gas lines are actually dig safe, having already identified where the line currently exists. Additionally, the sewer, we have confirmed it won't require us to connect out to Turner or to dig, in that direction. We've confirmed, and I think Frank mentioned that we could cap right at the property line and then reconnect once we rebuild. Piles are going to be done by vibration, no reason to do borings to identify. And they're going to meet the building code, which is a good thing because the building code requires FEMA compliance. Access is going to be basically the way it's always been at this property through Meadow Road, even though we also have the right to use the right of way on the opposite side. And Frank's going to use small machinery. It's not going to be big trucks coming through. The road can't handle that. So we've provided a plan, which was a sequencing plan, with Brad's most recent submittal a couple weeks ago. But we're going to be staging from the third location and bringing in small machines, not big trucks. The road can't handle that. And then in addition, I think Brad probably could speak to the ecology of that question about whether it's connected to the harbor. But there we go. We've just kind of responded to 5 different questions, and thank you.
Okay.
Want me to go on to the next abutter?
Yes, please.
All right.
Yes.
Stephen Shepherd, I'm unmuting you.
Hello, Stephen Shepherd, 70 Scituate Avenue. I'm just a little confused how this is going to proceed, and especially in whether the board is going to require that there be a coastal zone dune function analysis. The Wetlands Act and the bylaws require specific studies and technical data before the commission can legally justify any conditions it imposes. And that is just not here, as Lucas pointed out. There's no coastal zone functional analysis, meaning no technical basis for affirmative findings under the law. There's no salt marsh delineation, meaning the resource boundary remains approximate, and you can't determine whether proposed work falls within the resource area or apply the correct performance standards. And I think without this technical information that is required by the Act, the board would be in no position to set conditions that could be defended. And I just would like to know if the board is going to require those. And based on the response, it seems that the applicant isn't going to. So I just wanted some clarification on that. Maybe it could save some time in this process.
Brad, I think I'll let you take that one.
Sure. Thanks. As far as an analysis of the coastal dune and providing all sorts of more detail on the dune, that would be applicable if we were here stating that the area wasn't within a dune system. And we were saying this is in the upland and it's not a dune system, and therefore, we did all these studies to show you that it's not in a dune system. That's not the case. We're in a mapped barrier beach coastal dune. So therefore, we don't have to do an additional studies to show you that we're in the resource because we're not disputing it. It's mapped as a barrier beach and we're going with it as a barrier beach coastal dune system. There is a salt marsh that's off the site. It's down gradient of the bordering vegetated wetland. We're not altering salt marsh, so that's why the salt marsh hasn't been delineated. It's a down gradient resource area. That's something we can talk further about during our resource session, but we have fully identified the resource areas on the site. We're in Barrier Beach Dune and we're in land subject to coastal storm flowage.
Okay, I guess that's your response to Lucas on that. It seems like that's information that the board would require, but thank you for answering.
Devin has her, Devin.
Yes, I apologize. I keep unmuting myself because I do have a 13-month-old Great Dane puppy who likes to bark every now and then. So I apologize. Just to kind of speak to Brad's explanation, I do just I wanted to chime in here. So with regards to performance standards, and I understand that you are conceding that this is the resource area of a coastal dune and barrier beach, you would still have to, it's your burden to provide the technical analysis associated with the impacts on the dune, wave movement, all of the comments that we kind of put into that review letter still stand and remain unspoken to. So I do want to emphasize to the abutters that are concerned about that. We will be working through that in the working session, and they are comments that I do have concerns about. So, nevertheless, we hope to address those before any sort of approval is before the commission. Thank you.
Sure, and that's something that we'll talk further about during the working session. But again, if this would those kind of studies would be the case if we weren't in a dune system or we are disputing that scenario. That's not the case, and Devin and I can go over that further.
Okay.
I have
What
one more.
what we have to do is we have to meet the performance standards for work in a coastal dune. As I started out the hearing, the standard number 4 of the State Wetlands Protection Act says if a building exists, we have to minimize adverse impacts, and that's what this project is. I don't think anybody in the world is going to say that removing of the degraded house and pertinences that are there and elevating it doesn't minimize impacts. So we have to comply with the performance standards for coastal dune. And that's something we can go over further, and we're not opposed to providing more detail to the commission. We just think that obviously Devin and I and Jen sitting down together and going over the regulations and looking at the project and talking it out, then we can come back with some more detail.
Okay. I think we just have one more. The 2 more now.
All right, I'm unmuting Jim.
Hello.
Hi, Jim. You can state your name and address for the record.
Jim Clarkey, 107 Turner Road, Scituate, Mass.
Thank you.
I had a couple of questions regarding the mats you intend to use to cover the Phragmites, about how long they're going to be there and exactly how much weight are you going to be putting on them, because I'm not sure their root mass can actually sustain it the way those things grow. But it occurred to me, none of this is really going to be a concern if you actually access the property from the parking lot abutting Turner Road on your abutter's lot. They do provide access for some of the neighbors, I believe, and that's clearly a much better place to stage any sort of equipment that you're going to need or any deliveries to the property. And the intent on the use of Meadow Road is a little befuddling because it's anything you put on the surface of the road as far as covering or whatnot, the very first flood is going to be in the marsh. It's going to be in the salt marsh there. But also very critical, that drainage channel in the back, I think I saw referred to as a drainage ditch in one of the documents I was skimming, or mosquito ditch, that's what it was called. That's the primary drainage channel for the Turner Road flood basin on FEMA maps. And it also supports the drainage for all the roads on the south end that come off the south end of Otis, like Scituate Ave, Foam Road, all of that. So anything that could potentially impact the function of that channel as drainage from floodwaters is going to affect a lot of people. And I'm kind of concerned that repetitive weight of equipment going up and down Meadow Road, even over the mats on top of Phragmites, which have been cut back and then covered with a mat. I mean, large chunks of that bank could easily break off and fall in. You can clearly see right out the back door of that property where it's already happened. So that sort of thing could easily compromise that drainage function in a way that's unforeseen unless somebody told you about it ahead of time. I'm also kind of worried about the ability of Phragmites to grow through rocks if you're going to put rocks on that surface. I mean, just for everybody at home, Phragmites are those tall, fluffy reeds that completely move out of the way when you walk towards them or kind of snap off a little, which is totally fine. So how much cutting back needs to actually be done there, I'm not positive of. But another thing that's a little bit troubling, the plantings that you mentioned to prevent silt from flowing towards that marsh, the silt flow from floodwaters is exactly what the dune needs to grow and maintain its health. You probably have an ecologist somewhere around here that can comment better on that, but impeding that in any way is not necessarily the best way to go. And then if again, can the insistence on using Meadow Road is so mind-boggling because how do you plan to plow that without completely impacting the entire area? All that aside, I mean, I think those things I'd like to see addressed in the future, at least. Like, how long do you really need the mats anyway? Could this all not be easier and way less expensive for you to just talk to your abutter and use their parking lot for staging and then bring the driveway in from there? I mean, another question about Meadow Road would be like, I'm pretty sure, I mean, its status as a paper road came up as a proposal in like 1903, and the Army Corps of Engineers in a consulting move, they were in town beginning the construction at the military facility that's now under a bunch of condominiums. It used to be called the Proving Grounds, but they consulted on several road building projects down here while they were here to start the initial footworks for the seawall also. Those roads would be unmaintainable. That's why they were never built or flushed out. So in my mind, like Meadow Road's always kind of been private property with a road sign on it that people kind of use. Because I remember before the pavement got dumped there in the 90s, that was just sand. And the family that owns it, I think, was using it to access their properties back and forth, but it was never any sort of road. I'm not quite sure how that impacts your right of way that you're claiming over it. As far as normal right of way through private property would be like an easement, as far as I understand. And I think there's specifics to how much you can alter the surface of the area that you have to pass to and from. But again, all these questions go away if you just access Turner Road because that's where the address is, from that side. It's even better parking because you'd be way uphill. The flood waters there as they come across to hit the cars that would be living there, they'd be inches deep. Whereas if you put the parking out back, you're talking feet deep. Those cars will be floating before they could even get in there and try and drive them down that questionable private road that ends in a marsh downhill. So that's already going to be flooded too. I don't see how this functions in any sort of way.
Okay. Jeff, Brad, do you have any?
Um, Yeah.
A lot of necessary impact. That's all.
I don't have anything right now. I pulled up on my screen an aerial photo of Meadow Road, and it's certainly not a paper street. So
Sure it is. It's
mm,
sand. 2/3 of it is sand. There's a little crushed hot top that's pushed off of there. But I grew up here. I used to walk it barefoot all the time. I still do a lot, honestly. And it's still mostly just sand. It's got a
well,
little hard packed surface, but it's still a lot of sand.
I can't share my screen. Unfortunately, I'm constrained. I'd love to, but I can't. And more than happy to send the photo to the commission.
I mean,
But I don't really have any additional response at the moment.
Okay.
it was a road that was proposed and never built, never used as town property, never assessed as town property, as far as I understand. And it certainly has an owner. I think it shouldn't be too hard to actually find that out if you try. But again, like these questions all go away if you just go in from Turner Road, right?
Well, that's not what's proposed. So, as far as the Phragmites
It's a
is
6-foot tall
invasive.
pencil thick reed with a fluffy top.
Yeah, it's an invasive species. It's not supposed to really be there.
Not in the coastal dune area. It's actually what provides the structure that holds that dune in place and allows for that ecosystem to exist. It's invasive in areas where it's not native. This is a native area.
Does anyone want to answer that?
I think Brad's on the phone.
I'll just jump in quickly. The Phragmites is a result of the plant coming up from the salt marsh. The salt marsh is associated with an intermittent stream slash drainage ditch slash mosquito ditch further away from our property. The Phragmites is a non-native invasive plant. It's not something that we promote in the coastal dune system. What we're proposing here is just to trim back the Phragmites on either side of the roadway. The mats will be placed on top of the sand surface roadway for only temporary for construction and then removed. Very minimal work. I wouldn't even really consider it work in the sense that we're just maintaining that existing way. And to get into the other, this gentleman had a number of comments. I don't remember all of them, but I don't think they were pertaining to this project necessarily. So I'd have to see a list. There's too much for me to go over.
Okay.
No, it was
All
recorded.
right, well, we're over an hour here, so still have two more. So if we
Go
can
right
keep
ahead.
it brief, that'd be great.
All right, I'm gonna want me to unmute the next person? I'm gonna
Yes,
unmute
please.
Joanne Wickoff.
Okay, yeah, my last name is Wyckoff. Thank you.
Wyckoff, I'm sorry.
That's okay. And no, I just wanted to reiterate again, because I didn't get a really firm answer from the applicant's people, that there will be a salt marsh delineation, that will be done. They keep talking about dunes and barrier beaches. I understand that. But from the wetland scientists that we have walked through this marsh with, they believe, and we do too, that Meadow Road may indeed be part of the salt marsh. But because it's never been delineated and fully, there's no definitive delineation, everyone assumes it's not.
Going to address it quickly. We've located the limit of the coastal wetland associated with the salt marsh. That's the flagging that you see there on the
Yeah,
A
but that's
series
not
and the other
really a
series.
definitive delineation. That's just,
If I
it's
can
not,
continue.
it's not going boring down and finding out that there is marsh vegetation there.
That delineation has been performed by me. I'm a professional wetland scientist. That was reviewed in the field with Lucas Environmental during our site walk. There is certainly a salt marsh that's located down gradient of the coastal wetland here. It's off-site. We're not proposing any impacts to it. It's typical.
Just to clarify,
If I can finish, Devin, it would be similar to like if we had a bordering vegetated wetland and you had an intermittent stream to the bordering vegetated wetland. If you wouldn't go in and chase interior wetland resource areas unless you were proposing alteration to it. Um, certainly going to discuss it further with Devin during during our working session. And it's not a problem to delineate the salt marsh located down there, but we're not working within it. That's why we haven't located.
Just to clarify, Devin Tabor with Lucas Environmental. Thank you, Brad, for that explanation. Thank you to the abutter who brings this up. Lucas Environmental did not review a salt marsh delineation at the time of our site inspection. We delineated those resource areas that were associated with bordering vegetated wetland and isolated vegetated wetland. And in our comment letter, our secondary comment letter, which we will discuss during the working session again, we do have an outstanding comment related to identifying the resource areas accurately. So we can definitely go over that, but I did just want to put that on the record.
Okay, that's good because you all understand this is a tide gate salt marsh that is controlled by a tide gate that isn't operating optimally. And if it did operate optimally, we might see different levels of water in that marsh. But that's a whole nother project that the town is dealing with. Thank you.
Okay. And then one more person, Deborah.
Yes.
Hello, thank you. I would just like to refer to the meeting on December 12th.
I'm sorry, can you just state your name and
Deborah Arlauskas, 10 Foam Road.
thank
And
you.
I would like to refer to the meeting on December 12th where the road was referred to as a paper road. And that is why you said you needed to put stones. I also would like to thank Jim for saying that it was Phragmites is not an invasive species. It does help wetlands. And I am also concerned why, if you already have permission, why you are not using the Turner Road. Thank you.
So
Yeah, I just want to throw in there really quickly then that I'm sorry if I misspoke.
Yeah, just really briefly, we don't have permission from Turner Road. That's a fact. We're certainly open to it because it would be easier, but as of right now, we don't. And as far as Paper Road, just Meadow Road comes in from Scituate Ave, and you can drive a vehicle over it basically to our property. On paper, Meadow Road continues beyond our property and circles around towards the west.
Yours was good too.
But they like.
So it's paper in an area off-site, so to speak. But the area between Scituate Ave and our property exists as a roadway. It's not paved, but it exists, and that's why at least I have mentioned that it's not paper in that area. Further down, further off-site, it is paper. We're not proposing any work to that. So just wanted to make that clear. Thank you. And I'm happy to show that. I'll send in a photo to the commission so you can see.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I guess we're continuing this. So
Yes, I'm making a motion
motion.
to continue. Jen, when are we continuing this to?
Does March 30th give us enough time to get together and get a response? I don't want to make it too soon and then we,
Well, you'll have
aren't
to
ready.
ask
So
the
that gives us
applicant.
a couple weeks it gives us time to get together and then have a response.
Can we do it in a couple of weeks, Jeff?
I think that Brad will make himself available as soon as Devin is available, and we can do it.
Devin?
I'm available to the commission and to any sort of schedule that you'd like to see. If you want to do it this week, next week, that's fine with me.
Okay.
And my client's requesting a continuance to the 16th if that's
16th of
possible,
when?
of March, and if we could squeeze in the working session before then, we could probably do it on the 16th.
Wait a minute.
All right, so today's the 2nd, so then we would need to get this done this week.
Brad?
That would work great for me. And this week with the snow, it's just office work, so I'm open anytime that Devin's available and Jen, you're available. I think
Okay.
I'm hoping next week that the snow lets up, so we'll probably start getting back to the field. So this week works great if we could do it.
All right. Then I'll
Unless
make a motion
Devin.
to continue
Okay, to the 16th.
until the 16th of March.
Okay.
I second that.
All right, that was
Eric.
Eric. Yeah, sorry. Um, Robbie,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
and Brendan, yes.
Okay.
Great.
Jen,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
I'm gonna log out, and then I have the last matter on the agenda tonight. So if you can send me the request to invite at that point. Thank you.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Devin.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Devin. All right, 12 Gilson Road.
Uh,
I don't have to read anything, right? What do we have here?
Oh,
Am I
wait,
on
I
mute?
think you do. Did we not send you the legal ad?
The legal ad? No, no one sent me a legal ad.
all right.
Okay.
I will,
Let me pop one up. No, I
okay,
don't want to
thank
do it
you.
on my computer though, because then it'll show the personal information.
Just give me one moment, Brendan, and I will
Yeah.
log in and send it to you.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
It might have
I'd
been
rather not.
it might have been a couple weeks ago. Um,
While we do that, why
do
could
some
we do the
continuances.
continuances? Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, so what is it? 96 Stockbridge Road?
Yep. I make a motion. We continue 9096 Stockbridge Road to May 18th.
I'll second that.
Okay. Robbie? Robbie once. Robbie twice.
Um,
Sorry, I'm here.
Okay. Continuing 9096 Stockbridge?
To the 18th
Yes,
of May.
to the
Oh,
18th of.
yes.
Okay. And Roger?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we have a continuance of 49 Whittier Drive to March 9th, next
yes.
Monday.
Yes.
All right. So I have a motion second.
I'll second that.
Eric? Roger?
Yes.
Robbie?
Sorry, which one is this?
49 Whittier.
It's the
It's an
RDA.
RDA.
Yes.
And Brendan, yes. All right. Twelve Gilson Road.
Yeah.
Everything come through?
It came through.
Okay.
All right. Oh wait, the date's all right. Well, I'll be able to wing the date.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I don't know that I can actually. Might have to change it first.
Okay.
On March 2nd at 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700 of the Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws for a notice of intent filed by Richard Spence for the construction of an addition on a single-family dwelling within a coastal wetland resource area located at 12 Gilson Road, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information to access the meeting will be available on the agenda posted on the town website.
Okay, we have I think we have Paul Gunn from Morse Engineering. I do want to add this was one of the several items that was on our agenda last week, February 23rd, but that meeting was canceled because of the blizzard and town hall being closed. So that is why we're opening it tonight.
Okay.
Hello there. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So just again, for the record, my name is Paul Gunn. I'm an engineer with Morse Engineering, here tonight representing the applicant for the NOI at 12 Gilson Road. So this site currently contains a single-family dwelling with an associated gravel driveway, a rear yard deck, some retaining walls, and a mixture of lawn and wooded areas. Resource areas in the vicinity include a bordering vegetated wetland delineated by Brad Holmes in April of 2024, and also land subject to coastal storm flowage, specifically a FEMA Zone AE delineated by elevation 14 that covers most of the site. The property is not located within any NHESP priority habitats. It's not near any potential or certified vernal pools, and it's not located within an area of critical environmental concern. Several years ago, there was an approved NOI on this site for the construction of a duplex, but no construction was ever commenced under those orders, and the site remains in the same condition it was then. The applicant is proposing to construct a small addition to the single-family dwelling on the northern side, outside of the land subject to coastal storm flowage in the 100-foot buffer zone. Associated with this addition is a small porch and some hardscaping, specifically a paver walkway and a 24-inch tall retaining wall. And both of these extend into the buffer zone in land subject to coastal storm flowage. The applicant is seeking to also rebuild the rear deck in kind. So they want to replace the sonotubes and posts, but they want to keep the footprint of that deck the exact same as it is today. All proposed work is located within previously disturbed lawn areas. We're also not proposing to decrease any of the existing structure setbacks to the resource area. And we've largely situated the addition as far away from both the buffer zone and the floodplain as possible. We don't require any vegetation removal for this project, and erosion control barriers are proposed down gradient of the work to prevent erosion into the resource area. I believe that's all I have. I'll turn it back to the commission. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Jen.
There were no DEP comments. Work is in buffer and land subject to coastal storm flowage, some flood area there. I don't have any comments other than it doesn't trigger stormwater. And we could close an issue if you are ready.
Okay. All right. So let's hear from our commission members. We'll start with Eric.
I don't have anything at the moment.
Okay. Penny?
No, it looks good to me. It's out of the 100. I'm happy. Thank you.
All right. Roger.
Just a point of clarification. Most of the work, it looks like it's out of the 100. You mentioned replacing the deck. Is that the one on the backside, or I don't know what direction it is? And that's an existing. Is that just replacing the boards, or are you having to put new footings in?
So yeah, that is the deck on the planned southern side. That is an existing deck. They're looking to replace it in kind. They do want to replace the footings, the sonotube piers and the posts, just because the existing ones aren't in great condition. So they're looking at replacing that, but building the deck to the same dimensions. I believe it would require 7 new sonotubes back there. They would be installing 7 sonotubes, not 7 additional sonotubes.
Okay, so it's just replacing the existing.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. No question. Other questions? Thank you.
Okay. Robbie.
Is there a foundation associated with the addition?
There is, yeah, a standard basement.
And I assume there's a footing below the retaining wall as well. It's 2 feet of wall, and then is there a footing?
There most likely will be a footing. We didn't prepare a specific detail for the wall yet since it's only 24 inches, but most likely there will be.
Understood. Do you anticipate any excavated material as part of the project? And will that be placed on site, or will that be removed if there is any?
There'd probably be a slight cut just because for the excavation of the addition for the basement of the addition. I imagine some of it might be used on site for that 24-inch wall, although that wall really doesn't require too much fill because there are some existing walls in that area that are holding back the slope. But any extra fill would be removed off site.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Okay. I guess I don't have any other questions for myself
I
here
just,
either. Eric?
yeah, sorry. I just wasn't quite ready at the very start, so excuse me on that. I guess just two maybe minor questions. Any proposed removal of vegetation on the site needed for the construction?
Nope. So all the proposed areas to be disturbed are existing lawn. There might be some, landscaping beds within those retaining walls along the front yard, but like no removal of trees or anything. It's all lawn area.
And then could you just maybe briefly describe any regrading associated with that proposed retaining wall and what that looks like on both sides of the house?
Yeah.
Paper left, paper right, if you're looking at it.
Sure. So really no grading on paper right. We're intending to just keep that existing grade as is. Um, if you, I don't know who's sharing screen, but if we could zoom in on the retaining wall there, it might be a little bit easier to see because there's some existing walls underneath that area that kind of make it difficult to read. So you see where the addition is proposed, there is already a small retaining wall and a set of stairs. So that area ranges from about elevation 16 to 15. So we'd likely just be getting rid of that wall, keeping it at elevation 15 to match grade up to the new addition, and then grading down. The driveway is at 10.5 elevation 10.5, so we'd come up to 12.5, which in that spot is about a foot and a half of fill, and then carry that elevation up with the stairs. So in a lot of ways, the area from underneath the porch and along those stairs, the grade isn't really changing much. It's just we're adding about 2 inches to 18 inches of fill along the driveway, and that's what the retaining wall is holding back to kind of level out that area a little bit.
Excellent. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
So I think we're all good, I guess.
Yeah, there's no one waiting.
All right.
Any abutters?
Any abutters? Yes, I'm sorry.
Don't
Any
see it.
abutters?
No.
I'm waiting for them all to pop up. They're not popping up. Okay.
Okay. I
All
make a
right.
motion to close an issue.
All
I
right.
will second
That's
that.
motion. And Eric is their second. Robbie?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
And Brendan, yes. All right.
Thank you for your time. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, 37 Revere Street.
All right. I am looking for, if you could raise your hand. There he is. Thank you. Okay, Rick, I've unmuted you from Stenbeck and Taylor.
Yes, good evening. My name is Rick Savant with Stenbeck and Taylor, representing the homeowners on this project for this notice of intent filing. This property at 37 Revere Street out on Hummerock. What these folks are proposing is an addition to the rear at the rear of the home and a septic system upgrade. The property is out on the barrier beach of Hummerock. It's in a coastal dune area. It's also in land subject to coastal storm flowage, specifically a AE 13 flood area that we're in. So the addition off the rear of the home is a 14 by 20. They're proposing a new addition elevated on helical piles. We're not proposing a foundation here or any excavation in the area of this addition. It will be elevated to meet the new building code requirement, which requires that lateral additions be elevated to meet the flood zone. So the house will remain at the grade it's at, but the new addition has to be elevated up to elevation 15 to the lowest structural member of that addition. So it will be elevated. And again, on helical screws, so 9 helical screws to support the new structure. Secondly, part of the project is the septic upgrade. The home is currently on a cesspool, which is located just behind the existing home. The records are pretty slim on what's actually there, but the available records indicate a cesspool out behind the house. I don't even believe that the house has a septic tank. It just goes right into the pit. We're proposing to abandon that pit in accordance with Title V and construct a new Title V compliant system to the rear of the home. In between, there's an accessory shed out behind the house. The septic system is proposed to go in between the addition and the existing shed that's there. It will be a 3-bedroom design. The home is, it's not going to be increasing any bedrooms. It will remain a 3-bedroom house with the addition. New septic tank, new D-box, and we're using concrete chambers. The system will be below grade. Will not be a mounted system of any type. It's going to be below the surface. Importantly, there is an area of beach vegetation that in the area of the septic repair. We're going to deal with this by replanting it. Once the work is done, we're going to have to remove some cedar trees that are there that are fairly mature trees, which I worked with the homeowner. They will be relocated elsewhere on site. Generally, cedar trees replant very well in the right time of year. And there's a lot of Rosa rugosa there, which you may or may not know does not transplant very well. That will be removed, but once the system is in and regraded and brought back to the original grade, that area will be replanted, as you can see on the plan, with American beach grass and Rosa rugosa, similar to the very similar layout to what's there now once the trees are relocated. That's generally the project. We did the best we could with putting it in. It doesn't trigger the stormwater. They're lucky down here. They have a large lot, so they're only increasing the impervious coverage by 17.8%. And also, the project has gone through the Zoning Board of Appeals and has been approved by them for the setbacks. And that's about it. I'll do my best to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you. So I guess this time I'll start with Robbie.
Jen.
Oh,
Jen.
sure.
Did I say Robbie when I meant Jen? I'm sorry, Jen.
So we don't have any comments from DEP. It's barrier beach, coastal dune, land subject to coastal storm flowage. Yes, it's been through zoning. I believe Board of Health is also okay with the septic plan. It's going on helical piles and will be at least 2 feet above the ground, which is needed for an addition in dune. It is a 17% increase on the site. Good to hear that they are either replanting or saving the vegetation that's there in the dune. I think I noticed that some of the concrete walkway will be removed. I didn't know if any more of that could be removed, but the performance standards we're wanting to meet are those for dune, as well as land subject to coastal storm flowage. And our coastal officer did review it as far as her thinking that the height is appropriate. And if the project should trigger substantial improvement, then we'll have to then see about the whole house being elevated itself.
Okay. So now Robbie.
I don't have any comments on this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Roger?
No comments.
Benny?
Looking good.
Oh, we're just whipping through this. Eric?
I do have a couple things. So I guess first question is just regard to any lattice. Is there any lattice being proposed here?
So there is not, to my knowledge. I am aware that it needs to be open under there, and I have informed them of that. I know the architect's aware of that.
Excellent.
They haven't proposed to me that they're going to enclose this area at all.
It's excellent to hear. Thank you. Another question just on the dune vegetation. Is this site that has been selected for the septic, which is a good thing? We definitely want that. It's certainly a site improvement, but is this the only location on the site that is available? And if not, is this the least impactful to the existing dune vegetation? Because that is definitely a concern as it relates to this resource area with regards to removing dune vegetation.
So that we did the best we could on siting it. I'm sure it could fit somewhere else. I don't know that it would be less impactful. This is the area, where the plumbing comes out of the house. There isn't any room to the front or the side. There's probably some room way out to the rear, just digging up some new area, but we placed it where we thought it was best. There is the family is a gardening family, and they enjoy the plantings that are there, and I went over them in depth about our concerns about the vegetation. They assure me that they're going to restore and improve this area once the septic is done. They can save the cedars that are there and improve it with a lot of American beach grass and some Rosa rugosa. So we anticipate that once it's complete, that it will be at least as good as it is now, and probably better, according to what I've been told, once they're done planting it. So should be restored and improved slightly from what it is now.
Yeah, I just asked because as far as it relates to dune coastal or dune resource area, the disturbance and or removal of vegetation is not looked on as a good thing.
I agree.
As it pertains to the Rosa rugosa, I would ask if the applicant would be open to the native variety of coastal rose, Rosa caroliniana. It is now known that Rosa rugosa is a restricted plant on the Massachusetts list. It's been identified as invasive in the state of Connecticut, and if we could move towards replanting with the native species Rosa caroliniana, that would be much appreciated as well.
I completely agree. I know that the rugosa is not native, and I'm sure they won't have any issues with the native Carolina. They would just their intention was just to replace what's there, but I completely agree. I know that that's not a native species, and I'm sure they won't have any issue replacing it with a proper plant.
Excellent. I'm encouraged to hear that. So thank you very much, Brendan. I'm all set at this point.
All right, great. As anticipated, Eric had all my questions about the septic, so I'm good. So what's our Jen?
Can I close an issue, Jen?
Yeah, are we closing? Do we need to? She's not,
She ran away.
there's nobody there.
She's smart. I want to run away.
Oh, uh, I think we're okay to close an issue.
Yeah?
Okay,
Okay.
Yes.
I make a motion that we close an issue on 37 Revere.
All right, so I have my,
I
do
will
I have a
second
second?
that.
All right, second from Eric. Roger?
Yes.
Robbie?
Yes.
And Brendan, yes. After a rough start, we are making headway.
Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Did we just close that, or did we
We
close
closed an
Closed
issue.
and issued.
Close it. Okay, great. Thank you.
138 Stockbridge Road.
Okay, I have Gabrielle from Grady Engineering, and I don't think, have we discussed this one yet, or I know we've opened it. All right, I'll let you introduce the project.
Hi, good afternoon to everyone. Um, Hopefully, I'll keep this short for everyone else, just to keep this streak going. Um, Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Gabriel Padilla from Grady Consulting. I believe Mr. Labresh is in the crowd too. So what we're proposing is we are proposing work in a single family lot. There's an existing dwelling with a driveway. The backyard has it's a regular lawn backyard with some landscaping, hardscaping. We are proposing work within 100 feet of the vegetative wetland for the construction of a pool with the associated cabana and patio. The impervious area has been increased by 30% approximately, which triggers the stormwater permit. So as for the drainage mitigation, we are proposing a subsurface chamber system that will collect the stormwater from all the runoff from the patio. We are proposing to capture the runoff on a trench drain that goes around a slotted drain, sorry, that goes around the perimeter of the patio, and that will tie directly into the subsurface system. The project already went through stormwater peer review. We did receive some comments also from Jen Smith, which we clarified that there will be no tree removal. We clarified that. We moved the limit of work to stay outside the 50-foot buffer. And we also added a note that called out for the contractor to replace or add the reinstall missing conservation restriction area markers that were previously required. Based on the peer review that we received, generally they asked for test pits. We provided test pits under the proposed drainage area. We added a train strain maintenance to the operation and maintenance manual, and we also revised some of the stormwater calculations. And everything was we got all the comments back satisfactorily. And we are also proposing erosion control in the area. Also for during construction work, the access is going to be through an existing gravel driveway. And we are pretty much aligning the whole limit of work with a silt sock to protect the wetland areas. And with that, I will leave it to the commission. If you have any questions, I'll be answering them.
Yeah, we have Janet Bernardo from Horsley Witten here to answer any questions about the stormwater. She did the review. Josh, can we close those side panels and then enlarge it a little bit more for the site plan? He might be helping set Frank up, but Brendan, if I don't know if you want to hear from Janet, her comments on the stormwater review.
That would be great.
Hi, for the record, my name is Janet Bernardo. I'm a professional civil engineer with the Horsley Witten Group. We conducted a review of this property on behalf of the town. We provided an initial letter dated December 11th, 2025, with several comments that the applicant then responded to on January 9th, maybe January 15th is when we received their comments back. We submitted a second letter dated January 23rd, 2026. We did as noted by the applicant. We asked them to do some test pits. We asked for a few adjustments to the stormwater calculations. They are not discharging towards the wetland. It is infiltrating. So there's not a concern with erosion of the wetlands. They updated their HydroCAD as we had some questions on, and they were kind of relatively minor adjustments that were requested. And we feel like they answered our concerns adequately. They were able to address them, provided the storage volume within the chamber systems, and provided additional information for the O&M plan. So we were comfortable that they adequately addressed our concerns.
Okay, thank you. I guess we can move on to some members here. Penny?
Yeah, my only question, I have a couple, not important really, but around the pool, what are you putting down for the deck?
It's a channel. It's a drainage channel.
No. The decking around the pool.
Oh, I'm sorry. Those are pavers.
Okay. It's not a solid surface, right?
No.
Okay. And my other question was, where the pool's going, is that a grass area now, or what's there now?
It is a grassed area right now, yes.
Okay. And you're gonna put back up the wetlands signage that should have been put up
That
to
is correct.
stay out of there?
That is correct.
Thank you. Okay, I'm all set, Brenda.
Okay. Roger.
No, I'm glad to hear they addressed all the concerns that were raised. So I appreciate their working with those guys. So no questions from me.
Okay. Robbie?
A couple of questions. I noticed on the plan it indicates the subsurface rooftop recharger unit. I'm not sure what that is. Is that?
Do you want me to explain, or do you want the applicant to explain? Is it? So a subsurface chamber system, you may see it on other projects in town. Basically, it's kind of like heavy duty plastic. Sometimes they're yellow, sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're black. They're like a semicircle, open bottom. There's stone underneath and stone on top, and the entire thing is buried under the ground. They had to confirm that they had enough separation to groundwater, which they were able to do with their soil testing. But basically, it's a total underground, kind of like a leaching field for a septic system, but it's stormwater.
Understood. Thank you. So the recharger unit, is that an existing unit that's in there? That's the piece I don't understand, the
We
circular.
have an existing dry well that's for the roof runoff currently. And then they're putting in this proposed chamber system for the patio and the cabana.
But the roof leaders are not going to go into the new.
they supposedly are in, it's a 4x4 dry well that's also subsurface. It's beneath the ground. And it sounds like it's a concrete chamber kind of system, but they were not specific on exactly what that, but only that it exists.
Thank you. One more question in relation to the Caltech system, where it's got the elevation of 34.5 there. Is that finished grade elevation? What my concern is the grade from the top of that infiltration system to daylight, you
The
know?
34.5 is a length,
Okay.
not a height,
Okay.
not the surface elevation. It's the length of the whole thing. It's by
Okay.
34 by 10.
Okay. Is my question, I guess, still remains in terms of grading, daylighting from the finished grade elevation of that Caltech to, I guess, the edge of the work. Do you know what I mean?
It's going to be.
Yeah, the Caltech system is completely under the ground. It doesn't daylight. I mean, so the surface, I'm not seeing the grade on the plan that you have out, but
There's no change in grades in that area. The grade will remain as it is right now.
Okay, so it's about 38.7 today, and that's what it'll remain.
It will remain that.
Yes, at the top right corner would be the lowest spot, which is pretty much 38. The other corner near the closest to the house is actually 40. So there's a 2-foot drop along the whole thing, and that's the existing grade. And that's how it's going to end up being. It's the same.
Okay.
And just for clarity, the bottom of the chamber system is completely flat. And they needed, but the surface can have a slope to it.
Okay, thank you. Those were my only questions.
Okay, great. Eric.
Yeah, two questions. First, during the pool shutdown at the end of the season, typically pools are drained to get it to an appropriate level for overwintering. And obviously we don't want that being drained into the buffer. This pool is in the 100-foot buffer zone. So where is that water going?
That's a great question. Yeah, I'll let the applicant answer, but we would recommend that it either gets drained into the subsurface system and can infiltrate into the ground or into the dry well that the house roof runoff goes into. But I'll let the applicant respond.
And just before the response of the applicant, I just want to also add to that question, given that there are chemicals in the pool, chlorine or whatever it happens to be, that one, those chemicals won't have a negative impact on the infiltration chamber if that's in fact where it needs to go on the plastic or whatever the material is. And two, that despite that, going into the infiltration chamber, that it will not have a negative impact on the surrounding wetland with those chemicals being in that water.
Yes, so I don't have an answer on that. However, I can get back to you on with an answer. All work is proposed within that area. We really couldn't get away from the buffer areas. But definitely when it comes to storage and handling all that, we do have instructions in the operation and maintenance manual to keep all hazardous materials outside of the buffer areas. But I will get more information on discharging the pool.
Oh, that's interesting. Just on the hazardous materials, his pool chemicals, are they going to be stored in that shed that's within the 100-foot buffer zone?
I The O&M states it can't be there, so I'm guessing it would be inside the house or somewhere outside of that area.
Understood. Sorry, Janet, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but frequently, commissions have a condition of approval for how the pool runoff is managed, whether it is allowed to sit in the pool with, nothing added for several days before it gets drained, but that's up to the commission whether you choose to do that or not.
Yeah, I know that certain, like municipal chlorinated water, it can be passively decanted for 24 hours or actively off-gassed. So I do know that those are methods of dechlorinating water, but I don't know what's in pool water for sanitation chemicals. So my question is a generally broad one, as I am ignorant to pool maintenance chemicals. So that was the genesis of that question. And then I suppose the second question I have is there is a lot of work going on here within the 100, and there are certain areas listed on the plan stated as proposed plantings. Are those proposed mitigation plantings for the work that's happening within the 100? And if so, is there a list of what those native species are that I might have missed?
No, I don't believe we have a list of the plantings, but we can provide those. And as far as mitigation, no, we are not proposing it as mitigation. But we can certainly add some plantings for mitigation if need be.
Yeah, native species would be a request of this commission. But I think that's all I have for now, Brendan. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Yeah, I actually had the same question about the proposed planting, so they are not mitigation. Okay. I don't know. I think we could use some mitigation if that's at all possible.
Well, could that go in the orders, Brendan?
Yeah, I guess we could do that. Jen?
We can do that. Yes, if there's a certain square footage of mitigation we want to see, at the end of the project.
That
And we
sounds
want a
good.
list though of which, or do we have a list?
And a list of the planting plan to be submitted to the commission.
Okay.
Also, Darren Grady has joined us as well.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Darren Grady from Grady Consulting. Here on behalf of Grady Consulting and the applicant. I just wanted to answer your question with regards to the function of the underground surface chambers. The spillover or the draining of the water from the pool will not affect the infiltration function of those chambers. And I'm fine with that, with the draining of that into the subsurface chambers.
Thanks, Dave.
Do you have any questions, Brendan?
No, actually, I'm all set too. So, all right. So, what's next here? Are we ready to close or? Yeah,
Jen?
We can close. I mean, the issues that the conditions we would be including would be regarding stormwater, which include also some a surety to make sure that all of the components go in, and wanting appropriate as built along the way, depending on, if occupancy is needed. We do have conditions that we specifically use for pools, as far as drainage is concerned. So some guidance is given there. We would include native species wanting to be involved is and letting us know a planting plan. And it sounds like we would want some mitigation added as well that I can ask for that to be sent to the office to approve.
Okay, so what do you want to do? You want to just close it or close an issue, Jen?
I'm okay with close an issue. Those are my short notes on the pretty standard conditions that we have for stormwater projects in the buffer.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to close an issue on Stockbridge.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, so that's from Eric. So Roger,
Yes.
Robbie,
Yes.
and Brendan, yes. All right.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did I see my
Thank you, Janet.
did I see Frank join us?
I did. I'm happy to jump in or let you continue,
No,
and I can
please.
just.
I let one get away. So
Why is
time.
that?
So there was just like a crazy time on one of those. So
you mastered it, Brendan.
I did. I tried to,
I love it. Trial by fire. That's the best. So it looks to me like we're down to 61 Brook Street. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Just as a note that we've already continued the two.
Oh, okay. You continued
we've already done that.
96 and 49 Whittier.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay. 61 Brook Street. This is continued. Remember, this was an addition at the rear of the house, and we had questions about some of the proximity and some of the plantings. I get this was Brad. Is that right?
Yes. Good
So,
evening, members of the commission. Brad Holmes here.
Why don't you lead right in?
Great. Thank you, Frank. That's right. We continued this application. It's a notice of intent for an addition at the rear of the house at 61 Brook Street. Dana Bax is here on the call as well. They're looking forward to moving back to Scituate and living here close to the harbor. What we presented to the commission was the small addition. It's at the rear of the house. A good portion of it occurs over the existing patio and walkway. The project occurs within the buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. It's also within the riverfront. So the main focus for us was to ensure that the project complied with the riverfront redevelopment standards. And we presented that to the commission, and I think the commission, in my opinion, was open to the project, but was looking for some more detail regarding plantings so that we can address the Conservation Commission's 50-foot buffer strip policy. The property is also obviously within the buffer zone, and that inner buffer zone consists mainly of lawn right to the edge of the Scituate Brook. So what we've done is try to provide a little bit of a planting scheme here with some detail. So you can see what you see here in this image is that the red shading maroon or the maroon color is the area of the proposed addition over proposed addition over a lawn that's considered new degraded. The orange, which is it says existing deck, but that existing deck is pointing to a deck. That orange area is actually existing patio. So we'll propose to remove that orange area and convert that back to lawn. The purple bluish area is what we had originally proposed as mitigation to mitigate that increase in degraded area associated with the new addition within the riverfront in order to comply with the 2-to-1 requirement standards for redevelopment work. So that you've already seen, but we've also proposed this green area to extend that planting area further to the south to address work within the 50-foot buffer zone. So at the end of the day, we'll have a nice proposed vegetated buffer strip from the edge of the river or brook out landward. That all occurs with an existing lawn and landscaped area. So that is new that the commission hasn't seen that extension of the the planting to the south of that image. And also we didn't identify at that first go around removal of that additional section of patio that's located between the proposed addition and the existing garage. So with that, I think we're over mitigating as per the riverfront regulations would require, but we're also need to deal with the buffer strip policy. So we've accomplished both. So with that, I'll turn it back to you.
Jen, do you want to comment further?
Yes, I just wanted to double check. We're confirmed that we're looking at the plan February 10th, 2026. And yes, we are meeting the riverfront standards. We are proposing work in the 50. I do think it's good to see some additional vegetation along the brook. I would probably suggest adding some conservation plaques to, I don't know if it's a fence that's on the
We were
post and
actually
rail. Yeah,
right.
is
We're
that our,
proposing we could put the plaques on that on the
yeah,
post. We were
okay,
proposing the post and rail there as kind of
perfect.
a beef up to the conservation post.
Yeah, I prefer the fence. I think that's great. And we often ask for put some sort of condition about some surety to make sure the plantings go, but usually what we prefer is that the plantings go in as early in the project as possible. I mean, that would be the preference, is for those to go in beforehand versus the project's done and then we're figuring it out.
Right. We know that there will be a special condition requiring us to monitor and maintain the health of the plantings for at least 2 growing seasons. So we'll look to get this started as soon as possible so that uh, we don't have to extend the order to ensure that we have the number of growing seasons.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't know how you started out before, but I'll just start with Penny.
Yeah. Brad, you don't want to go out and start planting in the snow?
Only if you start shoveling the pathway so I can get there.
I'm
Good
more
answer.
than happy to come and help.
Good answer.
Anyways, no, this looks good. I'm glad you extended the plantings because before it, no, this is good. No, I don't have any real questions. Thank you.
Okay. Brendan?
Oh, no, I actually don't have any questions on this one.
Okay. Eric?
Two quick things. Just a question on the fence, Brad. Does that not only extend parallel to Brook Street and the brook itself, but does it also run perpendicular towards where that platform is that bridges the brook itself?
That bridge, there's a little bridge and it actually kind of it feels like that's that property, but it's, as you can see in the property lines, they're actually a little bit at an angle. So that bridge is actually on the property of others. So we'd have to stop that fence at the property lines as shown.
Understood. Yeah, I guess I was not seeing that line as I was looking at things. So sorry about that. And then, yeah, appreciate the addition of the proposed buffer zone mitigation. Feels a little lean, but I appreciate you guys, adding something. That's all I have, Frank.
Okay. Roger?
No additional questions. I think the changes are good.
Robbie?
Thanks, Frank. I think this plan overall responds very nicely to some of the questions and comments from the last time we saw it. I guess, does the addition have a full basement?
It will be a crawl space foundation, it's my understanding.
And then, so there won't be any issue getting that excavated material to the stockpile area? It seems a little tight, but I guess can make it work.
that's going to be the challenge. It is tight on either side. That will be the challenge of the contractor. Like, obviously need to
Yeah.
use a small machine.
Yeah. Okay. No further questions from me. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience for this one?
They all went home, Frank.
Could be. I actually had a chance to just take a quick peek at this, and I kind of, I mean, it's not ideal that it's this close, but on the other hand, I'm not sure where the applicant would go, and it seems like they need a first floor addition for the space if they're retiring there. That was their intent. So I think the mitigation sort of makes up for that proximity. That's my take on it. Well, I think that's it for me.
Okay, Jen, what do you want us to do?
Close an issue.
I make a motion to close an issue on Brook Street.
Second.
That's a motion from Penny, second from Robbie. All in favor, Brendan,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes.
Roger,
Yes.
and Frank, yes. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. We are on to 8 Newell Street,
Um,
right?
what about 20 Ridge Hill?
Yeah, Ridge Hill's next.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that's not when we continued.
No.
My apologies. 20 Ridge Hill. Thank you, Jen.
I'm here
okay. Yeah.
Brad Holmes with ECR to present a request to continue. We need to add some more detail to the plan and haven't gotten that to the conservation office yet. So we'll need to continue this hearing.
Okay, Jen.
That's why I didn't ask Penny.
You are so smart, Frank, but we got to continue it.
Yeah.
All right, let's we've got March 30th is what we're continuing to.
Okay. I make a motion we continue Ridge Hill to March 30th.
I'll second that.
Who started that? Was that
Eric.
Eric. Okay. So we have a motion from Penny, a second from Eric. All in favor, Brendan?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Robbie?
Yes.
And Frank, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now,
Marty, yes.
we're on to 8 Newell Street. And I was not able to join you today, but it sounds like you got some eyes on the project.
Yep.
So I guess, Jen, do you want to? This is a continued hearing.
Yep.
Yes, we received a revised plan February 19th, 2026. I think we can let them discuss some of the changes, but we were generally in agreement, I think, with all of the resources that are there. One of the things that we've got a whole enhanced area that they're adding to this. The site visit we went to today, we could see the deck that they were proposing to retain and how it connects to the existing dock. And you could even see some of the gravel driveway, which is pretty impressive with all the snow that we received. But I think I'll let them describe what some of the revisions that were made to the plan.
Okay. And it's this is Grady, and I think Attorney DeLisi.
Yeah, it's actually Paul Seberg and both Paul and Darren Grady. I thought I saw Darren on here, as well as Chris Wynn, who's the property owner. And I'm just gonna let Darren and or Paul explain the changes since the last meeting. Unless the commission wants an overview of what we're doing, if you can't recall, but
Yeah, I'll go ahead. My name is Paul Seberg from Grady Consulting. Just to start by going over some of the changes. Originally, we were proposing to remove this existing shed that's located kind of on the planned north side of the property. But now we're proposing to retain that shed and keep that for storage. The cabana was originally going to be moved to that location, but since we're going to retain it, the cabana will be relocated just next to the existing deck, just shown to the plan north of the proposed house. And also we've added a deck below the riverside porch of the house. So that porch is a covered porch kind of on the first floor of the house. And there'll also be another deck below that porch at roughly elevation 10.5, um, just underneath.
Excuse me, you keep saying north, but actually the cabana and the shed are south.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I just meant
Okay.
on this view, north of
I'm
this view.
sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, that could be a little confusing. Then as far as the changes,
You're not going to fool Penny, just so you know.
no. So we've identified the gravel driveway a little bit more clearly on the plan. I believe that was a question last time. The lighter area is the existing gravel driveway. The darker blue area is the proposed gravel driveway that will lead up to the new area underneath the house for parking.
Just to jump in briefly, one of the reasons why we're proposing to keep the other accessory building, whereas previously we proposed to remove it, is because in light of the fact that you did not want to see any lattice or garage doors under the building, we don't really, our client doesn't have anywhere to store, his property and keep it from entering the river during heavy windstorms. So that's why we need to kind of keep that accessory building. So the good news is that no lattice, no garage doors are being proposed.
Right.
And I think that's what you were about to say, right, Paul?
Exactly. Yeah.
Eric wanted an area of degradation to be shown, and I think it's a net no effect, but I think that that's the second sheet of the plan, if I recall. And there was some additional data that you wanted to see, which was added, such as, the elevation of the first floor and things of that nature, the first structural horizontal element, all of which we've kind of captured here. And I think since the last meeting, am I correct, Paul? The area of the proposed grass plantings on the south side of the property, that's newly proposed, right? That was not previously proposed?
I believe so. Yeah, we've added this area of 1,175 square feet of American beach grass shown in light green there.
Yep. Okay. All right, that's it.
Do we, I guess the other issue I wanted to just bring up is we do have an open order of conditions. So it's just as far as timing of things, it gets a little complicated to have two open orders on the same property.
Yeah, so I misspoke on that previously. I think in the last meeting I said that that had been closed, and I thought it was. It was, if the commission may recall, that there was an order of conditions that was issued with a funky condition on the prior project, and that was requested a superseding order on that. The superseding order resulted in an amended plan, which was approved. And the issuing authority of the superseding order was Mass DEP, not the commission. And so Mass DEP would be the issuing authority to issue the certificate of compliance. It was reported to me by my client that Greg DeCisa of Mass DEP did go out there and inspect the site some months ago in connection with trying to get an order, I'm sorry, certificate of compliance, and that the only thing really holding it up right now is the fact that there needs to be multiple growing seasons on the mitigation plantings that were installed. So it looks to me, I mean, I don't see anything in the regulation, Jen, that says that you can't have two orders of conditions open, but right now, we can't close the other one. So, um, I think that we just keep both of them open. They're both liens on the property, and eventually Mass DEP will see fit to close out the prior one. It looks like that's really the only open item.
This is Chris Wynn, Jeff, if I can add to that.
Yeah.
Brad Holmes was also engaged. Last year, he wrote a report on the current status of the vegetation to Greg DeCisa, and as soon as and he's been engaged again for this coming season. If we ever see the ground again, Brad will be out to help draft another report to show that we've completed and exceeded all of the planned growing.
And those plantings are actually shown on the plan that's on the screen right now. Am I correct, Chris?
That's correct.
So in a certain sense, they're already incorporated into this plan. But it's just an admin kind of snafu because it was an SOC that kind of causes confusion a bit.
Yeah, that in multiple it was requiring multiple seasons of growing, I think, per the original plan that was designed.
Okay. Anything else?
Not from us.
Okay. Jen, do you want to have any other questions? You want to go to members?
Yeah, no, I do have a concern with putting another condition, another set of orders at the moment. But I do remember that site visit happened and that the comments were about were regarding wanting additional monitoring plans, monitoring of plantings. The concerns weren't about work done on the house. So that just it does get kind of tricky to have multiple orders open on a project, on a site. Sorry.
I don't know the um, exact procedure there. It would seem like you could have more than one given the circumstances. Um, I mean, the other alternative would have been that they would have asked to amend the existing orders that were already out there, but it's significantly different. So
Right.
I don't think they
And,
could have
and,
done that.
and I
Right.
think this has been issued a DEP number, and I guess DEP would have had an opportunity to weigh in on that issue and didn't see fit to. So,
Um, hmm. Okay. Well, let's work our way through the members. Thoughts or questions, right? Anybody out? Anybody want to start here? Who was out there today?
Me.
Okay, Penny, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy with Mr. Wynn was very nice and showed us all around, and I got confirmation of my own that all the plantings were done. So we just have to wait for the snow to go away, and I'm sure we're going to see them again. But I don't have an issue with the property, the proposal, and Mr. Wynn and I had a nice conversation about the pathway from in front of his place on the private way that to make sure that the neighborhood can get to the river. And I was very pleased with his response to me. He was very nice. So I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. Brendan?
I'm sorry I missed today. My morning got away from me. Um, no, I think I'm okay with the plan. I think, particularly if Penny is, I think that I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay. Eric?
Yeah, happy to see the changes. Appreciate the willingness of the applicant to work with us on the comments that we had previously. I do just have a question as it relates to the riverfront area, existing versus proposed altered degraded riverfront calculation. It's just a little confusing to look at because I'm not seeing any change. And the purpose of the calculation is just to inform future work and future decisions off of the amount of percent change in degraded area as it relates to the riverfront, not as any sort of death knell to the project by any means, just as a point of reference for any future work that might be on this site. So I guess I'm just confused as to what I'm looking at, because it appears as if the existing and proposed is the entire site outside of the vegetation that pre-exists. So I guess, yeah, a little clarification on this, because it doesn't seem as it's currently presented to sort of fit that intent of informing future work.
Who wants to field that one?
That would be either Darren or Paul.
I can take that one if you want. So the resource areas that we're in are coastal dune and riverfront, and the coastal dune really wants to put sand in. The riverfront wants to create this buffer, that buffer of vegetation, and the two actually conflict, because in one instance we're putting in sand, which is not, which is actually a degraded area according to the riverfront. So the entire area within the limit of work is degraded, and the proposed work doesn't change that amount of degraded area. The if we were to add, we are adding plantings. The calculations, the way they are, we're not required to add those plantings, but Mr. Nguyen wanted to add those, so we've added it to the plan. Does that help answer your question?
Well, not entirely. I understand what you're saying in terms of there's sort of conflicting things between riverfront and dune, but we are in both. And dune, topsoil is sand. That is what is a naturally occurring substrate for dune. And given that it is within riverfront, I would sort of treat that as the existing condition. Or at least I would argue that that is the natural substrate for that resource area, and it happens to overlap with riverfront. And I guess the basis of the question originally for that calculation is, like I said, just to have goalposts, related to this specific, notice of intent and work being proposed. So then in potential future proposals, we have a baseline in terms of understanding of what has been disturbed previously and what might be proposed in the future as it relates to the riverfront resource area.
Sure. I think this plan is actually a good working plan because it shows both the previous mitigated areas, and we're adding another mitigated area here too. So this would be on record in your office. And it can be used for future projects as far as where that mitigation occurred for this project.
Okay. Thanks, Darren.
You're welcome.
Okay. Roger?
No questions on the plan. More kind of a question maybe to Jen about the two orders being open. I don't know if that's something that is a showstopper, or do we need to look into that a little bit more? I understand that like one of the other organizations had an opportunity to look at it and didn't comment on it, but I just want to make sure that as we look at these things, is there a process we want to follow? And if the two items are like vastly different, then how do we handle those as we go forward?
I might want to just jump in for Jen. It might make sense, I think, however the wording or the language of the order is fashioned to actually reference the prior order, so that whoever picks this order up could see that there was a prior one, and could inquire to reference that if necessary. So that might be helpful. The other thing that is coming to mind is the various properties that are houses out on Peggy Beach, literally kind of hanging in the water as you're standing on the beach, the public beach itself. Those homes had a road that was relocated by the town behind the homes, whereas previously it had been in front of the homes, which is now in the ocean. And I guess when the work was done, there was my recollection, having represented somebody out there, is that there was an order of conditions that dealt with roadway work that is continually, intentionally still open, so as to allow for maintenance of the road after storms and situations like that. And that road, I think, unlike, for instance, Meadow Road that we previously were talking about, that road actually ran through or traverses the various properties. And so each property owner actually owns a portion of it as it goes through their property. So when property owners do work out there, they have to get orders of conditions, and there have been a few raise and rebuilds that have occurred in addition to the fact that there is an order of conditions already on the property with respect to the road. So the only reason I bring it up is I was trying to think, is there a circumstance that I can remember that's kind of similar? And that would be it.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, Jeff. Jen, kind of just wanted, again, it may not be a showstopper for us on moving forward with this, but I do want to make sure that as we come across these things, we do have, like Jeff's suggestion may be the proper course, but I just want to make sure that we're looking at it.
I think that's a great idea to reference the other plan, specifically to the vegetation that none of that's changing with this new plan, only more being added. Um, I think that sounds like a reasonable way to move forward.
Nothing else for me, Frank.
Thank you. Robbie?
Nothing from me on this. Thank you.
Okay. Do we have anybody in the audience on this one?
I don't see any hands raised, but I did want to ask to make sure I understood something about what shed was staying. I think I
Paul,
understand it.
Paul, if you could take that.
Yeah.
Is
So
that the one at the end of where it says existing deck?
existing building where it says right there where the cursor is, just right
Okay.
there. Yep.
Okay,
Right there.
existing building. That
What
whole thing
what
is
the plan was to remove that building and then pick up the cabana and move it to the location of where that building presently is. So we would be one less building and the cabana would be in a different location. But we've now since decided to just keep that building and slightly relocate the cabana to a more appropriate location
and
on site.
that building has like a foundation to it.
No, I believe it's, you know what? I'm just going to let Chris answer the question.
Yes, Jen, it does.
Okay. What kind of foundations does it have?
It's a block foundation.
Yep. So more than happy to go back to the to the and we were brainstorming about different ways to handle the lattice question because we understand why you don't want it. So there's kind of competing interest is you don't like it because it breaks off and ends up in the resource areas. And we don't like not having it because then personal property flies into the river, if it's being stored under the house. So we were looking into kind of alternatives to lattice, and we were thinking like pressure treated PVC spaced a certain distance apart, that would be really, you know,
Jeff,
sturdy.
don't mind
Yeah,
me.
go ahead, Chris.
So in lieu of PVC, I believe that was the concern, cedar or pressure treated that would be more structurally sound, but still, allowed for the proper flow of sand and water. I just wanted to correct on the PVC word because that's.
Yeah, so you see where I'm going is the answer is that it's a foundation. And those are our comments on the whole lattice question.
Okay. Well, it'd be great to see it on piles if it ends up needing to be moved or anything done to it. And there was some staircases and some lattice that had been disturbed around Hummerock with this storm. So I think it's good that you're looking at a alternative way of managing the site because you don't want things washing into the river and into the marsh and onto the beach.
Yeah. Can I make a comment?
Sure.
Yeah, Chris,
Yes.
made asked today, would we be amenable to like cabling underneath the house around the perimeter
Chris,
in
can you
lieu of
explain
lattice?
Chris, can you explain what you were discussing there?
Well, yeah, just a lot of decks these days have what they call a view rail, which is 3/8 inch or quarter-inch stainless steel cable that's horizontally tied from structural beam to structural beam. So if you think of a deck rail, like a 6 or 8 foot section may have 6 or 8 horizontal rows of that cable, but nothing touching the ground. And it on a deck, it's meant for safety, but the same concept would apply to keeping stuff from ending up in the river. If it got blown away, it get caught up in the cabling would hold it in.
Huh.
And the water would flow, Jeff.
Yeah, of course, because it would
very
touch the
freely.
ground. Yeah.
And that's our big concern, is we want water flowing when it's coming and not having debris created by the lattice. Because when the lattice breaks, and especially what they use today, it's not biodegradable and it's a mess. So I thought the cable was kind of unique.
Okay. We have a detail or anything on that, or?
No, it was just some comments when we were talking out there, Frank.
Okay.
Chris I think, and his wife would prefer to be able to utilize underneath the house for storage of some of their items, and that's if that's something that you'd be willing to consider. I don't, Chris, you tell me if that's something you're willing to consider now, but it sounds like at least Penny's open to the concept.
So the only other issue we have with storing things under the house and creating stuff like that, we've got a couple of sites right now that we're under scrutiny from FEMA on that maybe push the limits of that closing stuff in, but the whole idea of elevating the house and having the space underneath is so things don't get damaged when they flood. And I get it that there's some things that don't matter if you want to keep your kayaks or that kind of thing, maybe stuff that just is pretty weather resistant. And I guess somehow some sort of way of keeping them from spreading all over the place. Is a good idea. Anybody want to comment on that one?
I'm not opposed to the cable idea. Maybe take a look at what it might look like, in elevation or detail.
That would be good.
The other thing, if Chris, if you're anxious to just kind of move on, we can continue on with this plan here, and should you decide that you might want the board to, consider an alternative, after you've built the house or whatever, you can do that too.
Okay, and that might make the most sense.
Okay, so we'll stick with it. I'm sorry I opened my mouth.
Well, I mean, you can come back to us. Jen can look at it as either a minor modification or, if it's more significant, an amendment to your orders. And then you can decide which one you want to put it under.
Okay.
Okay, where do we want to go, Jen? Do you want to wait until you get an answer on the two open orders, or?
I mean, I think, can we close and let me draft some conditions?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to close.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
That was from Robbie. All in favor, Brendan?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
And Frank, yes. Good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
This property's come a long way in the
you.
last few years. Thank you.
Well, thanks to everyone here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. What do we got?
We already continued the RDA, if I
So
remember correctly.
you opened Whittier and then continued it, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So I think we have
a couple of enforcements.
Do you want to do
Did we open
voting
it?
some rolls?
No, we didn't.
We didn't open it.
Open what?
Whittier.
Oh.
You did not open it?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, let's redo that one.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry, Brendan.
Josh.
Close.
Good job, Brendan.
You know,
I'm not faulting you, Brendan, a bit. I know you were so entrenched in earlier hearings.
He did a good job, Frank.
Yeah. Well, he's got the voice for it.
Yes.
On March 2nd, 2026 at 6 p.m., the Scituate Conservation Commission will hold a wetlands hearing under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Massachusetts General Laws and Section 30700, Town of Scituate Code of Bylaws, for the request of a determination of applicability filed by Kenneth Hartwell for the installation of a septic system located at 49 Whittier Drive, Scituate. Abutters and other interested parties are invited to attend. Information access to meetings available on the agenda posted on the website. So, that said, I guess you voted it, but what did you continue it to?
March 9th.
All right. Why don't you just make another motion to continue that?
I make a motion, we continue Whittier to March 9th.
That was Penelope.
Yes.
Brendan.
yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Roger.
Yes.
Robbie.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So which topic would you like to do first? Is there anything on open space you want to? It's 8:45, so tell me.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I'm all set on open
Jen?
spaces.
I mean, we can do things like voting rolls next Monday.
Okay.
Okay.
Enforcements.
126 Edward Foster will join us next Monday. They are getting us some plans, something written down to review.
Okay.
But I do believe 42 Crescent is they have sent a couple options and are here to talk to us.
Okay. We have someone from Grady, or
yes, Darren is here.
Okay.
And their builder is here as well.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to bring up maybe one of the plans that they proposed. Or Darren, why don't you talk to us and then we'll follow your lead on what you want to what we want to show.
I put up two options. Actually, I called the office after the last meeting to see how the meeting had went, and Jen suggested I watch the video. which I did, and I also forwarded to Todd Ken, who's with us on here today. Part of the request that you guys are making is that we attend tonight's meeting, which we're both here. And then you guys seem torn about the mitigation and whether to remove the patio. We obviously don't want to remove the patio, so we provided a plan with more mitigation. We increased the mitigation in the lawn as option B, that's shown in green if you have if you have our plan.
Okay, thank you. And then zoom in and yeah, thank you.
Our preferred option is over in yellow, and the technical side of it's not really complete yet because Todd Ken had asked us to maybe look at removing invasives. And I told him I didn't have the information on the invasives at this time. But we did engage John Zimmer, who was willing to go out and identify and quantify the invasives in that area, and we can create we can create a plan to remove those and to create a more healthy bank at that point. This should be done overseen by John Zimmer at that point. And it would be done after the snow is gone. If you have any questions, please let me know. The planting list is there. The quantities that I can go over if you'd like. It's more than last time.
Okay. Jen, do you want to comment on that at all?
The area in yellow, for those who went to the site visit for the abutting property, kind of matches up to a vegetated area that they had as well, that we had discussed some invasive management being happening there as well. Just if that helps to kind of give a visual of where we're talking about, I'll see if I can. Do we have an aerial picture? I feel like maybe there's some photos on this plan of the back.
Yeah, so I gave you another plan that
Okay.
overlaid the aerial because I wanted to demonstrate that there was vegetation on that bank in that area.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So, are we able to show that one, the second PDF?
Yes, you should have. There you go.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So yeah, I mean, the house is shaded in there maybe, or I see the driveway kind of in there.
That's an
Yeah.
old plan showing the old driveway that was originally for 40 Crescent. The lots were subdivided, and I didn't have image that really showed the vegetation as clear as this. And I thought this was best for that area shaded in yellow. The only picture I found with the house on it had the whole site still under construction, and it showed the sands not covered by vegetation, which isn't. It doesn't reflect what the site looks like right now. The site's completely vegetated right now, similar to the photos that you see to the left and right. It's lawn, it's mulch, it's stabilized, it's in good condition.
Okay.
And if you have any questions, I can answer them too.
Jen, do we want to start to ask members?
I think so. If we want to see what their thoughts are on this.
Okay. Brendan?
I have to defer, please.
Okay. Eric?
So I don't need to rehash the previous meeting pertaining to this property, as you watched it already and understand the consternation the commission has regarding the situation here. I guess my one question, just as a matter of course, because I'd be interested to hear the reason why there wasn't an approach from the applicant about these changes before going ahead and doing this work.
Todd, are you available to answer that? Jen, do you have to unmute him?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Got it. Yes, Todd, I'm asking. Yeah, there you go.
Hey,
Thank you.
Jen. Hey, board. Thank you. Eric, to follow up on that, I did send Jen over an earlier version of the first submission of the NOI that did show that deck patio on the back of the home, and being a miscommunication throughout, it did not make it to the future drawings, although it did make it to the landscaper who did the install. So again, it wasn't malicious in any way, shape, or form. The original NOI did show it on there. That's where they pulled their pricing from, and that's the work that was done. And then going back, looking at the approved plans, I did notice that it was not transferred onto the others as it moved forward. And that's kind of how we ended up in this plot. It wasn't moving forward, just doing something without permission. It was just on a previous NOI that it didn't get moved onto the final drawings.
Understood. Thank you for the response on that. I think the part of the problem, obviously, is that there's been other issues on this site relating to work that was not approved, specifically as it relates to that retaining wall. So I think we were just hopeful that given that original incident, things would have been handled a little bit more tightly and things paid attention to a little bit more closely. As it relates to the proposed option A and option B, I suppose this is a matter of course. I don't love the idea of just having something presented after something has been done without approval. But I'm wondering if there's consideration for both option A and option B to be considered by the applicant on this. And that's really all my comments at the moment. And I'll pass off to other commissioners.
Thank you. Roger?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Eric on this one. It's options are being presented. I think as a group, we've talked about this in the past. Things were done or were committed, weren't committed. Then people come back and say, well, let's come up with different options. I think as a group, we need to kind of make sure that we kind of stick to certain things. And I know these options is part of the process of moving forward with this, but I don't have any other thoughts or suggestions on this. I just get a little uneasy when it comes to just people just bringing ideas and saying, well, we did this. And as Eric said, there's been other issues here. Well, we'll make these accommodations. And I think it sets a precedent that I think we need to address, and maybe not necessarily use this as the point to do it. But I mean, I don't know. I don't, it's more of a comment versus a question. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Robbie?
Yeah, I had the same comment, I think, as Eric in terms of, option A or option B. I think we should just have them both. And, that's my only comment on this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Penny?
Yes, option A, option B, maybe an option C to go along with it. This has been an ongoing issue on this site. I don't want to belabor it, but I don't even think these two options together are enough.
Okay.
That's
All right. Well, I'm a little puzzled here. I don't know, Todd, maybe Darren. I don't remember this patio ever being on any plan that came before us.
I
So
had, I had sent that plan over to Jen when she first notified me. I don't know, Jen, if you've got that with you. I don't.
Sure. It was on when the very original notice of intent that was filed, it was on that plan. Since, and there was, we had comments about one, there being so much work in the 50, and then also there was property line issues. And so we ended up discussing a lot about they were still in the process of creating the lot. So then the revised plan we really spent time on was the next plan, which had revised property lines, and they removed as much as they could out of the 50. So it was really just the two corners of the building, kind of,
So
in the 50-foot.
okay, so not to cut you off, Jen, but so the reason that that didn't get built is because we looked at this plan in the beginning and we felt that it was more intrusive than it should have been there, and we told you to change it, and then you went ahead and built it the way you wanted to build it anyways.
No, that's not correct. It didn't
Then
it
then
didn't get transferred over to
no
the
no
new
no no
drawing.
we it should have been changed to something that was we looked at this plan, we decided that that was too intrusive, and we had a revised plan that didn't have it on there, and then it got built because that's what you wanted to build.
That's not correct.
Well, it's what it looks like.
Well, that may be your opinion on what that looks like, but I can honestly tell you that it was on that drawing. It didn't get on to the next one, and it wasn't done maliciously. It's again, it's to Eric's point, it's something that should have been tracked and looked at more carefully when it was done. And
Well,
that's
but
on me.
on this site we've had multiple issues, Todd. I mean, it came right out of the gate with work on here that wasn't conditioned at all. So I guess that would make me think that there's other issues here. And you've heard the other commission members saying, we see this happen repeatedly, and it gets very frustrating. We spend a lot of time on these projects. I'm just not convinced that these two options, one option, I mean, you're offering one or the other is your offer, which seems pretty weak. And then maybe we'll do both because that would be a bone for us or something. I don't know.
Yeah, can I say something?
Sure.
So at the previous meeting, we had a lot less vegetation. You mentioned you prefer a 2-to-1, at least a 2-to-1. So what's in front of you right now, everything inside the 50-foot setback, the 158 square feet, is a 2-to-1 mitigation, and everything within the buffer zone is a 1-to-1 mitigation. If you put both of them together, you're going to have the option A is 1,000 square feet. Option B is 931 square feet. So that would be like a 4-to-1 mitigation and a 2-to-1 mitigation for everything inside the 100-foot buffer zone. I'm just stating this so you get an understanding of how much mitigation is proposed and that it was increased as you requested during the last meeting.
Frank.
Yes, Penny.
Darren, I don't think you're getting the point. We could make you do 10-to-1. This project has been a nightmare since the day it began. That retaining wall, you do just what you want out here. I'm not saying you personally. Somebody just keeps doing what they want. This mitigation is not enough. When you're a kid and you're bad, you get punished. So this is not a normal mitigation. where we might go 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 on a project. Something bad has been done here, and it's been done over and over. I'm sorry, but I'm just had it.
I do hear you as far as what you're asking for. I'm looking for a way to help move this forward, and it might be through Todd, but I would like to see what we can do to make amends, get this site certificate of compliance complete, and get the plantings done next door with it this spring, and hopefully everybody is happy at the end.
If I may.
Sure.
I didn't say anything earlier because I really just really need to think about it a little bit more. Like everyone has said, that this has been issues from the beginning, and I'm sorry to say, that I really don't see how the whole it didn't get moved to the new plan works. So yeah, I'm right now, I'm leaning towards no option but to remove it. I wasn't here at the last meeting. I was ill, so I'm sorry about that. I did actually want to come and talk about this then. But we bend all the time, and I think it just has to stop because everyone knows that we do. And this plan, this project has had so many problems. So that's where I'm currently standing. Thank you.
It's 9:15 almost. I think everybody's relatively tired on this. Why don't you think about what other kinds of mitigation or alterations you can make to that patio, and come back to us.
Frank, just two quick things. One, I just want to make sure the board understood that it is a pervious patio. I'm not sure if that was notated on the plans. And B,
Okay.
if the option to take that patio is we take the patio out, are we putting grass back in there? What goes back in there?
What was on the plan that we approved?
That area was inside the limited work, so that would have gone back as grass.
Okay. Well, again, it's late. I'm not really that inclined to deal with this a lot more this evening.
Yeah, just as a matter of course, Frank, on this plan also, it shows that the deck that was previously approved by us was within the 50, and the one that is currently shown on the plan showing option A and option B. Sorry, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I retract that statement. I was following a leader line, not the 50-foot. I apologize.
Yeah. Was the corner of this house, these corners always, they were in the 50. I'm right about that?
Correct.
Okay.
The corners of the house were, yeah.
All right.
And there was a patio with a wall around it that was just within the 50. The 50 kind of makes that turn as it follows the top of bank.
Okay. All right. Again, I just think it's late, and I'd rather not dwell on this anymore this evening. I'd say, why don't you think about what else? Either you want to make some changes to the shape of the.
I can work with Todd on something, see if we can come up with something different. Are you looking for us at the next hearing? Is that kind of where this would go?
Well, we're meeting again next week for some smaller items. I mean, I'm fine with that, but it's up to Jen.
Yeah, no, that meeting gosh, I don't want to say it, but yes, we'll put a spot on this for that meeting.
Okay.
Okay, at least that gives us a schedule, and we'll be in touch.
Thank
Todd,
you.
do you have anything else to add?
No, I think I'm good at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, and nice job getting through that list.
Have a good evening. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye.
What do we have here?
We have minutes if you want to, and rolls if you want to.
Let's do the minutes.
Let's do the minutes and then call it a night.
Okay, I make a motion, we accept the minutes of 12:15 and 1:05 as written.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Brendan?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes, and I wasn't at one of them, so I don't know if I have to abstain from it, but yes.
That's fine. Robbie?
Yes.
And Frank, yes. If Josh did the minutes, I'm willing to put my name on them. Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Get out of here.
Yes, please.
Okay, that's Penny.
I second that.
From Brendan, all in favor, Eric?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Robbie?
Yes.
And Frank, yes. Okay, have a good evening. Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks,
Have a
everyone.
good night.
All right.